A drumline in a marching band creates one of the most rapid and exciting arrangements of music that requires hundreds of people in unison to create a sound so incredible and loud that it fills up stadiums upwards of 100,000 people. There's nothing else like it, and it's a sound that I only resonate with the greatest sport ever, which is college football. And I know, I don't talk about sports that much on this channel due to me sticking into my lane of video games and movies, but last year, there wasn't a video game I played more than this. And I love making fun of EA. Oh, I love it more than anything.
What up, guys?
But when that drum roll happens, my monkey brain takes over, my childhood shoots back, those Saturdays of playing football and the years I have spent of going to college football games, it unzipped me, it's all back. And after looking back on all the games I played during 2024, and with everything that happened to me, whether it be going back to college, crashing into a Subway manager's car, or having my YouTube channel grow more than ever thanks to all of you guys, there was a constant throughout this year, and that was this stupid game that just wouldn't go away. So let's talk about how EA somehow created the best football game ever made. College Football 25 is the first in the series since NCAA 14, which ended the series due to licensing issues of players' likeness. Just to put it in simple terms, college athletes weren't able to sell themselves as a product, but this was eventually resolved. Let's head to the place that EA spends most of its time, and that is... That's right, we're back in court.
Told you, can I really rock?
This time though, instead of a little loot box scandal, this lawsuit gave college players their NIL earnings, allowing them to sell their name and likeness, which in good terms meant college football players could get paid, but for EA it meant their golden goose could return from the dead. But like a broken down incredible car, it needed time to repair and just to be completely rebuilt. The last game in this series was 2 console generations behind, and EA needed time to upgrade all the stadiums, create brand new intro animations along with revamped gameplay, and create this game basically from scratch. When I say from scratch, I don't fully mean that. All their games still play and look like glorified Xbox 360 games, but that is beside the point. This development allowed for the rarest and most incredible aspect of this game, development time. EA this time took years to develop this game. The people at EA Orlando took over this game and got to completely focus on making this the best game that they could, as they were separated from the Madden 25 team. So they were able for 4 years to fully work on this game and put their full attention on it. Meanwhile, the folks over at Madden 3 Cubicles Over are still being locked away in solitary confinement until they create a Madden game every 9 months. Now, did this possibly destroy the working conditions and spread the teams thin, making this year's Madden even worse? I do not know. I don't assume working at EA is anything less than a death march with yearly quotas being thrown around more than any innovative idea, but College Football 25 was allowed to flourish in the corner, leading to it easily being the most refined EA Sports game that has been made in years. With over 130 stadiums that are in the game, intros for all of these stadiums with enough detail for the pageantry that goes on with all of these individual collegiate D1 teams. They implemented a brand new passing system with a more fast-paced game system with more big plays being allowed due to it being college football. There's multiple uniforms for over these 130 teams, with all of them having a unique playbook for each team, and they added in all of these players that you know from real life onto these rosters, leading to a college football game that is genuinely impressive in scope and ambition and worthy of that AAA title it sells on its box. But let's look at the most important part of this game first, the gameplay. If it's not fun, why bother? And let's just say the gameplay for this game is really fun and pretty slick. This is probably the peak of gameplay when it's come to a realistic sim style of football. It allows for a higher, more explosive offense with the difference in player skills feeling pretty wide like the actual gap of actual college players. And with the passing being revamped with different levels of pass touching, it's just perfect for putting the ball exactly where you want to and weaving it in between different layers of coverage. AI can still be absolutely moronic, receivers don't run towards the ball still, they give up on routes halfway through, or defenders will just not drift towards a receiver even if they're in the zone. But you know, overall, it's fine. It's fine. EA, this is just miles above what they're usually putting out, and I can't tell anymore if this is actually good, or if my expectations are just so low like a Sonic fan that I'm just happy for something passable. But all jokes aside, the gameplay is genuinely fun. But what are the game modes that you're actually going to be playing? So let's look at the big 3. The main game mode that sold this game that everyone was waiting on was Dynasty. Dynasty is a game mode in this game where you're able to take your favorite college football team and recruit brand new players and try to create a national championship program. And oh my gosh, they nailed it. It is near perfect. The way they have created this, from recruiting to being able to change conferences and completely rebuild your own teams, is just delightful and a fantasy come true. Running a full offline dynasty and creating your own storylines and bringing teams to play for national championships with Heismans that have no business being there is just perfection. This is what the game is all about. Everything went into this game mode clearly, and there's so much love put into it and the detail in it. You can run an offline dynasty for years, and honestly, this is a game mode that I don't think I'll ever get bored of. Unfortunately though, around $17 were put into what I call the story mode, and it is a sad sight to see. Road to Glory is the quote-unquote campaign mode, because we all know how good campaign modes in video games can be.
You got skills to be a great player, but the proof will come between the line. Tonight, time will tell if you can help or not.
Check this out. I'm gonna read out one of the tough sentences like from the back of the book.
If you're playing this game for the first time, you better cross these two options off right here if you want to play a game and not just role play a college student looking for an internship on Indeed. You're supposed to be role playing as a college student that's balancing their life as a college student and trying to become a starter on a team. The game's storylines though are embarrassingly shallow. The gameplay is lackluster at most positions other than quarterback, and this game mode just needs a lot of work. But the ideas that are there that could make it great are still there. Having unique storylines and allowing you to play as a college student while trying to become a starter is a fun idea. It's just it isn't that interesting out of those main games you're playing, and the appeal wears off pretty quickly. This game mode just heavily needs a revamp of the progression system, allowing you to progress as a player better and have actual storylines outside of gameplay that makes this game mode unique to you being a college student. But it is decent enough. It's really clunky, but it could be worse. If this is a clunky failure of ideas and Dynasty is a perfectly executed machine, then there's an abomination sitting within this game as well. Whenever you're having a bad day, remember, it could always be worse, because you could always be playing Ultimate Team. Ultimate Team shows how far we've strayed from God. Everything that is wrong with video games is in Ultimate Team. I have no idea why people ever play this game mode. If it was up to me, I would pass a law that would have you be sent to a financial management class immediately. Due to the brain rot you must have sustained somewhere in your life to be able to think that it's a good idea to be spending money on this game. And I know, I'm not the first person in the world to ever criticize Ultimate Team, whether it be in FIFA or Madden or college football. But the reason that it appeals to so many people is because the idea is fun. This game appeals to that childlike wonder of collecting baseball cards. You're able to collect all of these players from different eras of college football from all these different teams and put them together to create the Ultimate Team. But in order to create your Ultimate Team, you have to collect these cards in packs. So you have to spend real life money for a pack, and hopefully you get the card that you want. And EA does this thing where they release better cards the longer it goes on, so you spend a lot of money early in the season, so then you build up your team, but then it's out of date instantly like a month later, so you have to spend more money to make it better. This is that soulless greed that people despise EA for, and I really hate it because the rest of this game has had so much love put into it that this sucks that it's there. But you do have to acknowledge that it's in the game, and EA's greed is the scariest part when it comes to the future of this game and this game series. As much as I love this game has flaws that need to be addressed in an eventual sequel. But what if, like every other EA sport game, what if the problem is never improved upon? Because this game is going to get a sequel next year. Whether we like it or not, the sales of this game are insane, and there's no way that EA is not going to let this become a franchise. But with it becoming a franchise, it's probably going to end up in that annual release window, leading to this game, which was great because of the amount of time they were able to put into its development, slowly be allowed to fall into disarray as each new game prioritizes a little detail that they say will revolutionize the game that honestly doesn't change anything at all. One day we'll look up and we'll have another version of EA College Football 35 and it will be the exact same game. Might have slightly better graphics, might have a new type of passing animation here and there, but the fundamental fixes we needed for years are never going to be achieved. But even with all my pessimistic thoughts due to this being an EA game, I gotta say, looking at College Football 25, it was exactly what I wanted. There's a really special moment right now for all of us, because there is a college football game that I can say for the most part is really good. It doesn't deserve a Game of the Year nomination, it should have gotten a sports nomination, those are the worst nominations I've ever seen, but for what it is, it's all I wanted it to be. And honestly, just firing this game up over winter break with my brother and my dad, and all of us playing couch co-op while this marching band music in the back is playing with all these different teams in the stadiums and the traditions, they really did it. And I still just can't believe it. Those hacks at EA did it. Wait, did I actually say that this was the best football game ever made? I've made a mistake. It's clearly Rookie Rush for the Nintendo Wii. Come on, guys. This is the actual one. Sorry, I tricked you.